that I wrote. I'm going to be a little bit more long-winded because I've got a lot of things I want to read from. So I'm going to try and machine gun my way through it.
Do it.
So,
Machine gun.
Courtney Love is tap dancing somewhere at some point in time. Robert Rodriguez is channeling someone distant during the penultimate refresh or other kinds of archiving Gmails. I call out a really. I want to get powerfully drunk with you for only 5 minutes. I want to climb on top of a building and be very scared. During your life and about it, there was a boring synchronicity of Costco memberships. That's you don't have to clap in between because I'm
Machine gun.
Machine gun.
We are in a new cool breath of things, Whitney said. Whitney said that there are bursts and opportunities that we have to be in the right place when they happen, otherwise we are gone and left. Whitney said that there aren't always going to be these larger decisions and that we aren't always able to read and expect them. It's frustrating, says Whitney. Philip said nothing in response. He ate 2 handfuls of crackers and whispered to himself, "We're all neat, cool piles of dirt, I think." Philip touched his face with his left hand and he looked at Whitney. Whitney was busy doing her best to cloak her feet in the grass. "How much of my feet can you see?" Whitney said. Philip closed his eyes for 2 seconds and then opened his eyes to see where Whitney's feet would be. "I would say I could see about 40% of your feet. A new record." Whitney laughed for a few seconds and moved her feet out of the grass. "Can you see 100% of my feet now?" Whitney said. Philip smiled and said yes. Whitney said she wasn't sure what the day was like. Whitney said, "I think that the air is good today, but I'm not sure of the rest of the things surrounding it." Philip touched one of Whitney's toes and said something about the earth of the world and how it was rarely real and good. Philip said that he made a comic strip and asked if Whitney wanted to see it. Whitney moved her toes and said yes. Philip showed her the comic. It had 2 dogs standing next to each other. Each panel featured one dog barking a single bark at the other. The dogs would trade barks in each panel. The odd panels had the left dog barking a single bark, and the even panels had the right dog barking a single bark. This was the entire comic for the whole page. Whitney laughed and ate some crackers that were in Philip's hand. This is a small series called All of My Friends Moved to China. All of my friends moved to China, part 1. All of my friends moved to China and I stay at home. In China they say there are lots of buildings. They have no new names and no new languages and wake up. They wake up every day a little bit frightened. Do you remember that t-shirt? Do you remember the other one too? And we cry a little bit about t-shirts, but not in the traditional sense. Our brothers are very different. Are the brothers different in China? All of my friends moved to China, part 2. Scattered and smothered. All of my friends moved to China, part 3. When you are in China, tell me about the ports or tell me about the kinds of mountains. Did you date anyone else? Did you date someone? In China, tell me, do they have 8-minute dating? If you were in China for the rest of your life, could you 8-minute date everyone? All of my friends moved to China, part 4. I hear that most things are combustible. How much does everything cost in China? I want there to be a mutual understanding of where we were in our lives. I feel like we should have burned more things together. This one's called, They're Wrecking Our Situations. They're going to breathe like it isn't a problem. Call the cops. Call the cops. Call the cops. We go outside to call the cops. Cops, we say, "Oh cops." The cops come running. We've called you here for a good reason. The cops listen earnestly. Cops, we say, "Oh cops." How would you like it, say, if one were to approach you and cops, "Oh cops," to have them caress the soft part of your neck? The cops continue to listen.
Louder.
The cops raise their hands like they are underwater. The cops gently raise their underwater hands. Well, cops, we say, The cops begin to rattle and look at each other. The cops meet our gazes with theirs. Cops, oh cops, we repeat, how would you ever stand it? The cops bring in their lives and they bring in their amounts.